Welcome to everyone in this panel. So we are going to be discussing how to be a remote internship site with TWC. As you know, we are doing a virtual summer, so we wanted to really expand on what that would look like for all of you. So just to go over what we will discuss today, we are going to start out with how hosting a TWC intern will benefit you and your company. And then what is the commitment? What does that look like? What do you need to set up in advance? How does the process work in terms of matching, getting your intern the summer? Important dates to know, Q&A, and then some next steps to focus on. Okay, so my name is Laura Kepsel. I'm the Senior Manager of Alumni Engagement here at the Washington Center. And this is Kevin Nunley, the Vice President of Student Affairs. And I'm going to
Good
pass
morning,
it off to
everyone.
Kevin.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you all for being with us today. As you all know, the COVID impact has been phenomenal all across the globe. And so certainly for the Washington Center as well, we had to quickly pivot in the spring. We were in spring 2020, we had about 300 students here in DC with us. And as many universities did, we realized quickly that that was a situation that we needed to manage. And so made the decision at the middle of March to shift to a remote program. And so our students left DC, but we worked with all their sites and their course instructors and their, at the time they were called lead instructors, to move everything online. And so what we learned from that is how do we need to really do a virtual experience? And so what got us here to where we are today is that as this is continuing to have ripples across the country and across the globe, we have decided to keep our summer internship program virtual as well. We know summer internships are so impactful for our students. Our student body in the summer is usually double what the sizes of our spring and fall programs are. So we know it's super impactful. But with the current health crisis and all the uncertainty that surrounds, social distancing and being in offices, commuting, those types of things, we just could not see ourselves running a DC program. And so in partnership with our universities, we've moved to go virtual. So as I mentioned, we're launching a virtual internship program. This is a really interesting opportunity because what we're going to be able to do is unique this summer, and this is where a lot of you all come in, is that we're going to be able to expand our internship offerings outside of Washington, D.C. We are the Washington Center, and we're very proud of that. We've been in business for 45 years and have always been in the nation's capital. And that was our uniquenesses of how we ran our program. We use DC as a living learning laboratory. But this summer is an opportunity for us to try some new things. And so while a lot of our sites may still be in DC, our students won't be. And so what we're looking to do is work with our virtual internship program to offer opportunities in DC, but also anywhere. They can be across the country, they can be across the world based on the work that's needed and the time differences and things like that. So we're really looking for some amazing professionals to come on board with us to offer those types of really impactful, important experiences for our students as they continue working towards their career readiness. As I say that, we also know that this is unique. So we'll talk in a few moments about how we're going to help you all as we work through this process. So this is new to a lot of places, not just the Washington Center. A lot of you all may also be trying to figure out how to go remote. So we're going to talk about how we'll support that. All right, back to you, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. So we want to discuss also how this is a benefit for you. So you are helping students gain professional experience and skills and bringing new ideas to your own company. So you are kind of pioneers in this way. A lot of companies just decided to flat out cancel their internships for the summer. So this is really brand new to a lot of people conducting this virtually. And you are just really going to have the chance to get students that have innovative ideas from all over the country, as well as get new ideas as you're working with these interns virtually. So one additional benefit is that we are bringing pre-qualified talent directly to you. So you don't have to go through the struggles of trying to find really good interns and sorting through all these applications. We are doing all of that for you and then just preparing a nice stack of student resumes to give to you that we think would be a great fit. So it's a lot less time for you, and you know that we have vetted everyone. So that is really great. And for any alum on the call as well, you know that we only select the best. So you are definitely getting some good folks. And then we are providing support throughout the experience. So you are not alone in this. We are going to be resources for you as a supervisor, to make sure that you are best supporting your interns. If you have questions about what the process looks like or just even best practices and supervision, all of that will be readily available to you. And then lastly, training and development. So again, you may be a new supervisor, or maybe you've just never done a virtual internship before supervising those kind of students. So throughout the semester, we will be offering training and development from our professional staff that have worked with hundreds of supervisors to really help you to improve those skills. So you will be able to enhance your own career with that. And with interns in the past, like if it's not through the Washington Center, you have to hope that they're progressing, but sometimes they don't take a lot of opportunities to grow through outside sources. At the Washington Center, they will be provided with up to 8 or more professional development programs throughout the semester to really help them enhance their performance. So we are training these amazing students to be even better for you, so you know that you're getting quality throughout the semester that continues to grow. And then for some organizations, a new innovative way of working with your internships and teams. So this opportunity may give you the chance to collaborate with new departments to create new projects that you wouldn't have thought of before. So this is really your chance to create innovative solutions to your company during this pandemic. And perhaps that could even continue for new ideas in the future. So we're really excited for you to work with us and kind of develop these new ideas for your company. And then impact for students. So this spring, we did have half the semester virtually, and that was a really great test for us to see how this was going, and it went really well. So we have a student named Kelsey that said that she really gained a lot of experience there, and she felt like she's learning every day what it's like to be in a workplace with thinking outside the box. And working remotely, it really does mean a lot of independence and work with how she's doing it. So it really allows students to learn autonomy, to not be given necessarily like constant check-ins and things like that. So it really does help them grow. And you can see from Kelsey, it was a really great experience for her. And we are really excited to offer that opportunity for our students. All right, and I'll pass it on to Kevin.
Thank you. So you all may be wondering, what is your commitment for a virtual internship program with our students? And so I want to talk to you about what is the expectation of what a virtual internship site looks like from our hosts, and then what are the ways the Washington Center helps to support those. So, what our first expectation is that we really, really value that mentorship and advice and career trajectory growth that our supervisors help foster with our students. And so, for our virtual programs or our in-person programs, we do require that there's an assigned supervisor or a point of contact. That individual is someone who is really going to help with what Laura talked about earlier. Those students will need to have some checkpoints, but they'll also need to have some autonomy. They'll need to have some projects or some deliverables and things like that. And so really having someone who's going to provide that feedback, those check-ins, and then work with our team as we continue to support the students ourselves as they are going through some other aspects of the program, which is career readiness, online course, those types of things. We're looking for between 20 and 36 hours of work per week. The reason we went for 20 to 36 is that we normally would say 32 to 36 hours if we were in our DC program. But we know that we need to be a little bit more flexible because you may have to really think about how you're going to have a remote intern work in your organization. And so for some of you, you may have 36 hours of remote work a week that you're able to really do. For some folks, you might be more along the lines of about 20. And so we're looking for a minimum of 20 hours and then up to 36. We really don't want students to go past 36. And we are also learning ourselves that it's easy sometimes to go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in a virtual world because you forget all those social nuances of it's time to leave work, right? Because you're still working at home. So we don't want to go above 36 because students are taking an evening course with us. They are working on their career readiness programming that Laura mentioned earlier. So they're going to be busy. So we want to manage some of that space for them to be able to also explore those other avenues of the Washington Center experience. We really, really, really want to have a quality experience with our students. And quality means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We have some great guidelines that we call the Internship Bill of Rights that helps us really think about what does a quality experience mean. A couple of pointers on that is, substantial experience. We want our students to feel like, even though it's virtual, that they're getting a substantive experience with your company. We want them to feel like they're part of the team. And so while it is hard sometimes to do that virtually, using technology like Zoom, those types of things to make sure that they are connecting. We want them to feel like they are a value add to your experience and that they're also learning and growing, and that they're developing skill sets and competencies that then again continue to help them push their career forward. Our goal with our students, and for alumni on here, I hope you can resonate with this. Our goal is that when students leave the Washington Center's program, they have a leg up on all the other individuals out there who they're competing with in the job market. Particularly right now, we're in unprecedented times. And so the more we can do to help our students gain those skills and competencies that are going to help set them apart, the better we'll be. The fourth point that we're looking for as far as expectations goes is access to technology. Now, we do not mean that we expect you to buy your students a laptop or those kind of things. The students, we also expect when they commit to the program for summer, that they will have viable internet, that they will have a computer, that they'll be able to do their side of the house as far as the technology work goes. What we mean by access to technology is if you do have drives that are used for your company, that they get access to that. If you happen to be at a media agency and they need a certain type of laptop camera, helping them understand what that looks like, those types of things. If you have a secured access piece, you may not be able to give them full access, but what are the ways you can ensure that they're working? Okay. And then last but not least is our students are earning credit for this experience. And so we ask that our internship site supervisors provide a final evaluation at the end of the semester on your intern. And so we use this to, one, share a recommended grade back to their university for this experience, but it also helps us assess where the student's at with their skills, their development, how this experience was for them. And our students will get a final evaluation from you. They'll get a final evaluation from their course instructor, and they'll get a final evaluation from their career advisor this summer. So they'll get 3 different evaluations that really help them understand how well they perform through the virtual experience. How do we find the right intern for you? This is one of the things I'm really most excited about, how the Washington Center does our work. We are really committed to the concept of matching. We're not a plug and chug company. It would be easy in some ways to do that, right? You've got a business major, you've got a business agency, great, those go together. We don't want to do that. We want to make this really a symbiotic and holistic approach for you and for your student. And so we work really hard to understand what the interests of our students are, and then work to recruit and develop sites that match those interests. And at the same time, we're asking you to develop a job description or a position statement that helps us understand what you need, so that we really are trying to line those positions up and that intern and their skill sets and their interests to what you really need to be successful. And so we'll work with you to do that matching process. Once you agree to work with Washington Center and you go through the vetting piece, which we'll talk about in a second, we're going to assign you with a site relations coordinator. That person is going to be your main point of contact through that matching process. And they're really going to help understand what types of interns are going to be most successful with you, what types of skills you're looking for, any specializations, and assure that we're getting you the right type of folks. I've got an infographic here in a second I'll show you that will kind of walk you through the steps of how that works. There it is next. Thank you, Laura. Once you're greenlit with the Washington Center, we're going to work with you to identify and share those job descriptions that we talked about. Now, we're not looking for a full 30 bullet point JD. We're looking for, a couple bullets on what are the things that you need your intern to do this summer? What are some specifics that are really going to be helpful for us to match up those interests? Are there specialized skills or majors that you're looking for? Do they need a second language? Those kind of things. And we've got some resources on our landing page that we can share with you that will help you also see how to create those job descriptions. Once that's in and we do that matching process I talked to you about, we're going to look at those student profiles we have and really see who works best with you. We're going to send those to you. And so you have full autonomy in interviewing your candidates, okay? If you get 5 candidates and you love them all, but you only can select one, then you'll send that person an offer, all right? If you don't love them all, you're like, hey, TWC, none of these folks really fit what I need. We're going to go back into that first step there and consider other candidates for you and then send you a new batch, okay? So that you can continue trying to really hone in on what you like and what's going to be most successful for you. We do, again, want this to be a situation where you're getting what you need, the student's getting what they need, and that's going to make the most powerful experience for them. If you send an offer to a student, then we always recommend that you give them kind of a deadline for confirming. So if it's a Wednesday and you send the offer and say, I'd love to hear from you by Friday about whether you'd like to commit to this internship with us this summer. And once that virtual handshake's in place, then we'll work with you on what the onboarding piece looks like. The Washington Center itself does an orientation for our students, but we also want to make sure that we have time for you to be able to do your onboarding And whether that's, a couple of days of orientation once they start with you, if it's a half a day, if it's a virtual PowerPoint you send them, whatever it may be. There may be different things that you use to help onboard folks to get them started.
Okay, so let's discuss important dates that you should know. So, for our program dates, the program runs June 1st through Friday, July 31st. So, June 1st is our student orientation, which is a Monday. So, that will take place 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then students can start their internship that afternoon at 1 p.m. if you would like them to. If you need the intern to start earlier, that is completely fine. Please just discuss it with us, and we are happy to make those arrangements for either starting early or ending late. We are definitely happy to consider whatever needs you have in that realm. So, mid-semester site visits, that will happen beginning June 15th, and that will take place with their career advisor, the student, and yourself. So, having a virtual conversation about essentially how it's going. And if you want to talk through anything, if you want advice on anything, that's a great place to do so. And then the end of semester evaluations will be sent to you or the supervisor in charge on July 10th, and they must be completed by July 27th. That evaluation will just include, like Kevin said, how the student did, go through kind of the NACE competencies of things like communication, collaboration, technology, how they're doing with that, things of that nature to really help them progress forward and know where they need to work on and where they are really rocking it.
So what we want to take a small break here before we go into next steps to see, are there questions that you all have? Or there comments that you would like to hear from the Washington Center? Are there other things that we can chat with you about before we go into the next section of the presentation, which is about next steps? So feel free to either chat those at us, do the Q&A piece, or if you would like to raise a virtual hand, we can open up your mic so you can ask a question with your own audio.
Oh, average. So Kevin, we have one question.
Excellent.
What is the average salary range?
That's a really great question, and I'm glad you asked that. So our students, because of the nature of our program, we're an academic internship. So that means we have 3 components of our program that the students are all going through. They're enrolled with their campuses and earning credit for those experiences. And so we actually do not have a salary requirement for students because of the nature of the way we're working at their credit arrangements and things like that. We're also working very hard to, we are working with our state funding situation to ensure also that students are getting their state funding in place, which will help offset the cost of the program for the majority of our students. So if you are able to offer stipends, that's totally great. It's not a requirement, but if you want to, that's certainly fine. But it is not necessary. It is because of the academic nature of the program. We do not need to offer a salary or a benefits package, so to speak.
And Kevin, we have another question from one of our fabulous alumni. Are the students all undergrad or also graduate students? She is an alumni of the program and participated during undergrad.
Oh, excellent. The majority of our summer students will be undergrads. So I would say probably 8% of our students are undergraduates. We do have a couple of specialized programs, like we have the veterans program, and some of those students can be graduates. But for the majority of our students that we're talking about today, we're looking at the undergrad population.
And another question, any students in marketing / sales program?
Absolutely. So the great thing about the way our program works is that we don't have major specifications. We work with any and all majors. And so we really do try to build a process where any major can be successful with the Washington Center. And so we have folks who are in the marketing world, PR world. We have people who are graphic designers. We have people who are working in fundraising. We have people who are biologists. So that one might be a little tricky on the, not going to be able to do lab work virtually. Well, maybe you can nowadays. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in that field. But yes, no. So we have tons of different majors. I'll tell you for the summer, what we're seeing right now with our population who are committed to the virtual program. We have a lot of folks who are in marketing communications. We've got a lot of folks who are interested in the political side of the house, whether that be campaigns, right? Big year for campaigns. Whether we have students who are interested in international affairs, we have folks who are interested in reform, human rights. So lots of different options there.
Mm-hmm. And I got another question. So one of our folks, their degrees in educational leadership and their first language is Spanish and English is their second language. Do we think that learning Spanish as a second language will fit our goals?
That's a great question. So I would think about what are the needs of your internship experience. And so having a second language is certainly something that we have with our student body. We have many who have second languages and some who have English as a second language. Some who have just, as a lot of folks in education do, pick up a second language as they go through their programs. So I would start that question with more along the lines of what is the need of the internship? And so if your goal is to ensure that somebody has fluency in a language by the end of that, that can be a goal. I wouldn't necessarily say it's part of the actual experience itself, right? Because we're not doing, our internships are not necessarily as like English immersion programs. We're looking for students to gain competency skill sets in the workforce.
Mhm. Great. And we got another question. If we'd like to extend the internship with students past July 31st, would TWC still be involved in this, or is it more dependent on the student's availability to do so?
That's a great question. And you've said it perfectly. So our program runs from June 1st to July 31st. As far as the academic portion, the graded portion, the evaluations, those types of things. We are very open that if you want to continue a student, for example, if you're working on a project and it delivers on August 18th, well, that would be kind of terrible, right? To tell the student they're done on July 31st when they've got 3 more weeks potentially like for work. We would ask that you work directly with each other to make that happen. Because our technical program dates that we put out there do end on July 31st. We have no issue with it continuing. A couple things you have to think about is, when does the student need to be back on campus? Those kind of things have to be considered for their timeline. But we certainly see the opportunity for students to be able to have some flexible dates outside of the career readiness programming and the course programming. That is pretty set. That we've got those bookended.
Yeah, the only difference would be that you would probably need to submit that site evaluation, that final one, before the end of their internship. But after that, they are absolutely free to continue working if you all make that arrangement, and TWC would just be removed after the 31st. So great question. And we got another question. So it was the original question about this English as a second language. Thanks for answering. Thought it would be a great idea for students to improve their professional skill in a second language. And I definitely agree. I wish that more people had another language under their belt. So if that is an opportunity at your internship that you want to offer, I think that is definitely great to know. And I'm sure a lot of students would love to have that opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What other questions can we answer? Feel free to ask anything.
The one thing that I want you all to think about as well, and this ties into can a student go beyond July 31st, is we are going to be actively interested in seeing if we're going to have a virtual program at least partially in the fall as well. So this may not necessarily just be a summer experience. So keeping that in mind as well, you might be able to also have a new batch of students coming in August, particularly if you're not in DC, based on how the COVID impacts when we go back to work, or if we're continuing to be social distance, those types of things. And so, but for those of you who join us for summer and you may be in Denver or in New York or in LA, I fully expect that we're going to have some opportunities for you to continue working with us come fall as well.
Yes. And so if that doesn't work for the summer for you, definitely we'd love to work with you in the future as well. So the first step after this, if you are interested, confirm your interest and availability to host a virtual intern with us. And then we will go ahead, connect you with one of our business development team members to finalize the vetting process. So we'll be asking questions about, are you fine with giving the student 20 to 36 hours of work? In terms of, do the dates work, things of that nature? Are there any additional technology needs? So just kind of some nitpicky questions to make sure that that fits what we're looking for. And then from there, our internship site relations team will make contact and begin the matching process with you. And we are really excited for you all to have this opportunity, because you really will be making a massive impact virtually on the future of our workforce. These are the people that are going to be taking place. Our Gen Zers are about to step up, and this is a massive gift that you're giving them for them, and you're really getting a lot of benefit in return. So we are just very thrilled that you're interested in this process.
Just as you see these next steps out there, I will let you know that we move very quickly. So if you let Laura and I know today that you're interested, we will have somebody on our business development team in contact in the next 24 to 48 hours to do that vetting, and then move right into the matching process. So it's a very quick process for us. The point on that is that because summer's coming, so it's only a few weeks away, really. So we start May tomorrow, right? Which is fascinating to me. So it's one big blur of days now that we're in social distancing land.
So we are here to help, and this is our contact information. So again, my name is Laura Kepsel. This is Kevin Nenley, and here are our email addresses and our phone numbers. So get in contact with us in whatever platform you prefer if you're interested, and we're really excited to get the process started with you. I see in the chat.
Is there a deadline to confirm interest? We don't have a set deadline. I do, want to ensure that we are able to match you with the right students. And so as we get closer to the start date, our student numbers are going to go down as far as availability. So we just want to make sure that if you are really interested, that we get that interest statement in, so that we can start ensuring that we are going to be able to provide you with the students that you're looking for. Okay. But as far as a deadline, not necessarily, but obviously if it's June 3rd, then we've probably missed it for summer, right? Because they start June 1st. So, and we want to give you time to ensure that you're able to interview and that you're able to have the conversations with students and things. So I would just recommend sooner is better, so we can just ensure the ball keeps rolling for you.
Again, I will be sending this out along with our email, so you'll have access to that. And are there any final questions that we can answer while we're here? Students are from all over the globe or only in the US? Great question.
It's a great question. Typically, our students would be from all over the place. That being said, summer is a time where we normally only have domestic students. And so, so this summer, we're looking at probably about 90. Let me rephrase that. Summer is going to be students that we would consider domestic because they're coming from domestic universities. We will certainly have students who have F1 visas, who are international students enrolled at US schools. But our summer program is predominantly students from US universities.
Well, if that is it in terms of questions, again, we are very available. Oh, got another one. Okay. Been helpful and great to see TWC adapting ways of working to ensure students are still able to have a great internship experience. Thank you so much. We are really, really excited to be making this step and being, one of the first programs to be transitioning virtually. So you are all in this with us, and we're very, very excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
great.
Flora, thank you for your time. We appreciate you all being with us today. We hope that we can work with you this summer. I think that you all will be fantastic additions to our team of ensuring students are getting an amazing experience. So we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to chat with us today.
Yes, thank you so much. You'll be receiving an email from us shortly with all of this information. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Stay well, you all. Stay safe.